offer it to them at first. You have to have safe places, and it has crept into the church that people become so offended by the least little bit. It's the day that we're living in. I don't know if anybody was affected. I know you were because you live in Houston. When an 8-foot water main breaks, I told my wife, I said, we have become so health conscious that a little bit of mud gets in the water and we have to boil our water for the next 48 to 72 hours to keep from getting sick. I was glad as a child to go out. I felt that it was the best thing that could happen. You run the water long enough to get the rubber taste out of the hose, and then you just stood there and drank. There was no device on the end that kept it from pulling. I don't know, we would stand there and play in a mud hole with a water hose and get through and drop it in the water and go over and turn the water off. I don't know what it pulled back in there. We have gotten to the place to where we have allowed things to happen in our spirit, that every little thing, for the lack of a better word, is probably not the most public or proper PC, that's the politically correct word. But I'm going to use it anyway. Might as well just go ahead and get the first jab in. We're living it where everything ticks us off. We refuse to walk in and leave our gift at the altar and to make sure that everything is right, that when we come back and we offer that gift to God, that it is acceptable in His sight. For the last, and I have questioned it for the last 5 weeks, as to why I walked to this pulpit and I taught the things that I taught. Mercy was extended, and now I've come this morning to tell you that judgment is fixing to rule the day. God set a plan in motion where this church is concerned. And we have gotten to the place to where we have hindered what He wants to do in this assembly. Because now we are so spiritual and we are so above and beyond, and we know better. We don't feel that we have to go back sometimes to the basics of what God is wanting to do through us and with us. And it is now at a point that we are so spiritual in our walk that we have become so judgmental and we are lost, and God is going to judge us. I don't care how much you run the aisles. I don't care how much you talk in tongues. I don't care how many dreams you have. I don't care even what God says to you. I don't care what he talks to you about. When we have gotten to a place, say, Brother Bourne, are you upset? Yes, I am majorly upset in what is going on in the spirit. That we started out, we have veered off course. And that window of opportunity that God has predestined to use us in is closing at a rapid rate, and I refuse to allow that window to close and the wall be sealed off and him take what we have worked for and go down the road and have to start over with somebody else. I am going to fight until there is no breath left in my body. Leviticus chapter 13 says, if there is a spot that appears on a person, then they are to go and show themselves to the priest. I'm not just preaching to the congregation and thinking that I'm behind some isolated wall where it does not affect me. Because the longer the time until this present moment, the more I have preached to myself and the more I have soul searched. But the Bible says in Leviticus 13, if a spot, they were to go to the priest and show themselves to the priest and say, there is something that does not belong and I don't know what it is. And the Bible says that for 7 days they are to go outside of the camp. They are to separate themselves for 7 days. After 7 days, there is things that they go through to make sure that those spots are not leprosy. Sometimes it's an old spot. What we thought was in remission comes back. Sometimes it's a new place. It's a rising, it's a scab. It's something on the skin of the flesh. It's like the plague of leprosy. When they get through looking at the plague in the skin of the flesh, if there is, the Bible says, if there is a hair in the plague, and it turned white, and the plague inside be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is the plague of leprosy. It is then that they are pronounced unclean. They are still and have been living in the miraculous. They have watched the Red Sea part. They have watched the manna fall. They have watched as the rock supplied water for them on their journey. But yet, in the midst of the miraculous, we find that they are unclean. God is judging this house. For months, for years, it has been preached of what was going to happen. But in the midst of all of that, there was something that was interjected that said, set your house in order, because God is going to visit. He looks on that person. He says, there's a hair plague that is in the skin of the flesh is in big leprosy. So for the next 7 days, we're going to have to quarantine you. And on the 7th day, the plague is still in sight. And if it's still there, the Bible says that they will continue for another 7 days. They will observe it, and then again on the 7th